Welcome back to lecture number 4 of unit number 4, ventilation and infiltration on design of space air distribution. Uh, Space air distribution is the last concept of unit number 4. So this concept we will cover in 2 lectures. So this lecture we will mainly focus on a design parameter of space air distribution and some design aspects of distribution devices. The types of air distribution devices and the other part we'll cover in next lecture. So as far as space air distribution is concerned, the air distribution system must satisfy the following requirements. The first requirement to create a proper combination of temperature, humidity, and air motion in the occupied zone. So the major role of space air distribution system is to distribute the air uh, uniformly across the conditioned space. So proper combination of temperature and humidity of air motion to be maintained. So the air velocity is generally 0.15 to 0.36 meter per second. Variation should not be, it should lie in between 0.15 meter per second to 0.36 meter per second. Variation temperature should not be less than 1 degree Celsius. Then to avoid draft in the occupied zone, draft is defined as a localized feeling of cooling or warmth. Uh, that whatever the distribution system, it should not create any kind of draft because it causes a discomfort for the human being. Then the effective draft temperature. So to measure this draft, one terminology is used that is called as effective draft temperature (EDT) for comfort uh, condition. And this is given by this expression. It is in terms of dBT and velocity. It is a function of dBT and velocity. So for comfort, the EDT should be within minus 1.7 degrees Celsius to 1.1 degrees Celsius. So the value of EDT is generally calculated for different dBT values and velocities. And if it lie between minus 1.7 degrees Celsius and 1 degree Celsius, it is a comfortable, it is good design. And the velocity should be less than 0.36 meter per second. Then select and place the supply air diffusers in such a way that the ADP, that is Air Distribution Performance Index, it is called ADP, the approaches 100%. So the ADP is defined as the percentage of measurements taken at many locations in the occupied zone of space that meets the EDT criteria. That is of minus 1.7 degrees Celsius to 1.1 degrees Celsius. So the formula of ADPI is number of locations that meets uh, the EDT criteria divided by number of measurements into 100. So if it is close to 100%, when n is the number of locations at which the observations have been made, and n theta is the number of location at which the effective draft temperature is within minus 1.7 to plus 1.1 degrees Celsius. So if this ADP, it is ideally, it should approaches to 100%. So above 80% ADPI is a indication of good air distribution system. Then the next important parameter, that is space distribution, space diffusion effectiveness factor. So space diffusion effectiveness fraction is the ratio of two temperature difference. So that is first, that is exhaust temperature minus supply air temperature in the numerator, and in the denominator, the difference between room temperature and supply air temperature. So it is recommended to have this SDPI value less than 1 because if it is less than 1, that implies some amount of, greater than 1. If it is less than 1, it implies that some amount of cold supply air has not mixed with the room air and is leaving the conditioned space as an exhaust. So it is mandatory to have this SDEF value greater than 1. If it is less than 1, that is indication, means there is a huge difference between exhaust temperature and supply temperature, and that is indication, means some amount of air, supply air is not mixed with the room air and it goes as it is through the exhaust. So that's why there is a difference. So larger difference between exhaust air and supply air is not at all desirable. So the space air distribution is considered to be effective if the value of SDEF is greater than 1. So that is a recommended value of SDPI. So these are the uh, factors need to be taken into account. Generally, the three parameters are measured, that is EDT, then ADPI, and space diffusion effectiveness factor. So these parameters are measured, and based on these three parameters, generally the effectiveness of air distribution system is investigated. Now the recommended velocities for supply air diffuser. So the table is given. So the table shows the recommended supply air velocities for diffusers. Since the air velocity at supply air outlet is normally much higher than 0.36 meter per second, it is recommended to have 0.36 meter per second velocity in the room. But supply air outlet velocity is much higher than that, and its temperature is also much lower than 24.4 degrees Celsius. It has to mix properly with the room air before it reaches the occupancy level. This depends on the effective design of air distribution system. So the noise criteria is also important. So for various applications, generally for supermarket, factories, gymnasium, there the supply air velocities should be high. It is in the range of 6 to 7.5 meter per second. Restaurants, it is in the range of 5 to 6 meter per second. Apartment offices, it is 4 to 5 meter per second. And studios, operating theaters, it is 3.5 meter per second. These are the recommended velocity. Now, in order to investigate the effectiveness of air distribution system, we'll take one example. So the following table gives, so this is a table which shows the measurement made at 9 points. So 9 points measurements taken in the occupied zone of an air-conditioned building. So in the measurement, generally travel temperature and air velocities at different locations are measured. Now in this numerical, there are 9 locations measurement is taken for DBT and air velocity. EDT is obtained actually with the help of formula. So at the solution from DBT and air velocity, from the given expression, the EDT values are obtained. So these are the various values of EDT. Most of the values are negative except one. DBT values and air velocity values, these are the measured. This is given in the data, but EDT value is obtained by using this expression. Now, the calculated EDT values are shown in the table. Already we have seen. It is seen from the table that EDT values varies widely from minus 3.31 to plus 0.3 degrees Celsius, indicating improper distribution. So itself from the EDT value, we come to know, so there is a large variation in temperature. So that is minus 3.31 to 0.3 degrees Celsius is the EDT variation. Now, first of all, we'll check whether this particular distribution is effective or not. So for that, we calculate first ADPI, that is Air Distribution Performance Index. That is by using this formula. So n naught n theta upon n into 100. So the locations, there are 5 locations in the range of minus 1.7 to plus 1.1, and out of 9 locations. So the ADPI is only 55.6 percentage. So that indicates the air distribution system need improvement in the design of air in the design, as it indirectly indicates that only 56% of the occupied zone meets the comfort criteria, that is the interpretation of ADPI, whereas remaining space gives rise to draft. So the ADPI value is generally recommended to close to 100%, but this value is only 55%. So only 55% occupied zone meets the comfort criteria. So ADPI value wise, the air distribution system needs to be improved, especially design needs to be improved. Then SDEF value, that is space diffusion effectiveness factor, because the supply temperature is given 17 degrees Celsius, exhaust temperature is 22 degrees Celsius, and room temperature is the average of all DBT values. So that is coming around 22.9 degrees Celsius. So that again, SDEF value also comes less than 1, that is 847. So all four values are two values are given in the numerical statement, and room temperature we can take the average value of all DBT values. In the table, all DBT values are given. So on the basis of that, average value is obtained. So corresponding SDEF value comes around 0.847. So from all three values, uh, we can uh, we can say that the air distribution system is not effective, because ADT range is also high, ADPI value is also less, and SDEF value is also less than 1. So these are the performance parameters which investigate whether the air distribution system is effective or not. So accordingly, if it is not effective, then accordingly the modifications are made in the air distribution devices. Types of air distribution devices will definitely discuss in next lecture. So such kind of numerical can be asked. I think there is no variety in numerical of space air distribution, but mostly the tables are given. Based on the tables, you have to determine these three factors. And the only thing is that you have to memorize the numeric expressions. Expression is only two expressions are important. This is the temperature difference between exhaust temperature of air minus supply temperature of air, divided by a temperature difference between room temperature and supply air temperature. So this way we can investigate the effectiveness of the air distribution system. As far as the design of air distribution system is concerned, the objective of air distribution system design is to choose the location. So where to fit this air distribution system, and the type of supply air diffuser, which type to be used. So types we'll discuss definitely in the next lecture. And the location and type of return air grills also important. So types of supply the air diffusers. Supply air diffusers are the diffusers through which the conditioned air is entering into the room, and return air ducts or return outlets are the outlets through which the air is taken out from the room, and through return duct it goes to the AHU unit. The parameters that affect the air velocity and temperature at a given point in the conditioned space are. So the parameters which generally air temperature and air velocity, these are the two stringent parameters in the air distribution system, because it is mandatory to have only 1 degree Celsius allowable variation in the room conditioned space. And the velocity also, there should be a proper mixing of airstream, so that the velocity after entrainment velocity is close to 0.36. And it should lie between 0.15 to 0.36 meter per second. So for that, there are some parameters which affects. So generally the velocity of air at the inlet to the supply diffuser is also important. So it should not create any kind of noise at the time of delivery. Then supply to room temperature difference. So supply to room temperature difference, it should be as high as possible, because that for proper mixing, the higher difference is desirable. Then the geometry and position of air supply outlet is also important. So which kind of geometry? There are different geometries: circular, rectangular, then a slot type. Various geometries are available. So according to the condition space geometry, and not only geometry, but its position is also important. So it should cover the occupied zone. So that is also important. The position of return air inlet is also important. So if the movement is like that, in most of the cases, the return outlets are fitted at the top. Supply outlets are fitted at the bottom, because in the supply outlet, the air density is um, very high, and when it comes in contact with the occupants or any heat sources, air gets heated, its density decreases, goes up. So commonly the supply outlet is fitted at the at the bottom locations, maybe at the side location at the bottom, and return outlets are generally fitted at the top somewhere. So the position of return in air inlet is also important because it should not be opposite to the supply outlet, because otherwise in that case directly the air goes out from the supply return grill without mixing. So there should be a proper distance between a supply outlet and return outlet, so that the proper mixing should take place. So position of return air inlet also plays an important role. Then room geometry needs to be considered, whether it is a rectangle, sometimes it's a passage. So accordingly, the diffuser devices can be selected. Room surface temperature is also important, because lower the surface temperature, stronger the natural convection currents. So if the room surface temperature is uh, uh, comparative to the room temperature, in that case natural circulation is not that much proper. But if there is a proper difference between room temperature and the air temperature, then the convection current, natural convection currents develop and the proper mixing takes place. So lower surface temperature is desirable in that case. Then internal heat sources also plays a very important role on the velocity and temperature. If the internal heat source is non-uniform, in that case also there is a uh, possibility of variation in temperature and velocity. So in that case, wherever the heat source is there, so supply outlet location should be close to that, so that the proper air distribution should arise. Uh, then the room turbulence, how it creates the turbulence, that again depends on the location of air distribution devices. So these are some design considerations, and in order to maintain adequate air velocity and temperature, the designer has to ensure these parameters, and optimum parameter analysis is required for proper design of air distribution system. The exact prediction of velocity and temperature profiles inside the conditional space requires simultaneous solution of mass, momentum, and energy equations for conditional space. Actually, through experimental, we can devise, even through CFD analysis also, we can analyze the air distribution system, that is exact distribution of velocity and air. But analytical method is required, that is by solution of, because air distribution system means the conservation of mass, conservation of momentum, as well as the exchange of energy also taking place, heat energy. So all these governing equation need to be solved simultaneously to predict uh, the exact velocity and temperature profiles. However, in general, this task is extremely complicated due to the several factors that affect airflow and heat transfer inside the conditioned space. However, a basic understanding of room air distribution requires the understanding of buoyancy effect, deflection of air streams, and behavior of free stream jets. Normally, the location and type of return air grills do not affect the air distribution significantly. So the location and type of return air grills do not affect the air distribution system significantly. That is a very important statement. But the basic understanding of room air distribution, it requires the understanding of buoyancy effect, deflection. So proper this density variation, it mainly depends on the buoyancy effect. So how temperature variation is there, so accordingly the buoyancy effect plays a role. Deflection is also important. So the locations are normally in the, this is generally true for only the small rooms, but for the big auditoriums, I think it plays a very important role, that is location and types of uh, return air grills. The behavior, in order to understand the behavior of free stream jet that is actually coming out from the supply outlet, some parameters needs to be observed. So generally the blow or through of uh, the these things through of the air, So blow is nothing but it is the distance traveled by the air. So this is blow, distance traveled by air stream in horizontal direction on leaving the supply air outlet and reaching a velocity of 0.25 meter per second. So the horizontal distance traveled by the jet, that is called as a blow. The velocity should be measured at a height 1.8 meter per second. So here somewhere the velocity should reach around 0.25 meter per second. And that location is 1.8 meter above the floor level. In air conditioning, the desirable length of blow is up to 3/4 of distance to the opposite side of the wall. So the distance traveled by the jet, horizontal distance traveled by the jet is minimum 3/4 of the total distance of the room. So this is one wall and opposite wall. So then it is actually a desirable length. So desirable length is 3/4 of the total length. Is one thing. Drop is actually a vertical distance the air moves after leaving the supply outlet. So this is supply outlet. After leaving, the vertical distance traveled by the jet, that is called as a drop, and reach the end of blow. So this is up to the this is through and reach the end. So at 1.8 meter per second. So this is second parameter that is blow or drop. So these parameters are measured for investigating the proper distribution of the air. So throw and blow should be as high as possible for desirable. Then third one is the entrainment ratio, because as the high velocity jet called as primary jet leaves the supply air outlet, it entrains some amount of room air. Room air is called as a secondary air. So proper entrainment should happen. That entrainment gives the rise to the motion of room air, because room air is a still air. So because of the primary air, that is actually the supply air, there is some movement of the motion of room air, so air movement happens of the room air. The entrainment ratio at a distance x, so entrainment ratio at any distance x from the supply outlet is defined as the ratio of volumetric flow rate of air at x to the volumetric flow rate of air at supply outlet uh, at x is equal to 0. So at any one location, so entrainment ratio is the flow rate at any location divided by flow rate at the supply outlet. So that gives the entrainment ratio. That is x is equal to 0. So obviously volume flow rate is more here. So it should be less than 1, because volume flow rate at any location is less than the volume flow rate at supply outlet. So the entrainment ratio is much less than 1. So it may be 0.2, 0.3, that is entrainment ratio. Then second one is the spread of air jet with the diverging wind. So the spread, that is the fourth parameter, we need to be monitored or observed. So spread angle, it may be a horizontal, it may be a vertical spread. So it is the angle of divergence of airstream after it leaves the supply outlet. When it leaves the supply outlet, it is the angle of divergence as shown in figure. The spread can be both horizontal as well as vertical. So if you see the top view, so if this is a top view, then it may be a horizontal. If this is a front view, then it is a vertical. It may be vertical, it may be horizontal, depending upon the vents uh, are normally used. So the spread, the depending upon the vanes used, if the vertical vanes are used, it causes a vertical spread. If horizontal vanes are used, it causes a horizontal vane. These vanes can be straight, uh, converging, and diverging. Figure shows the outlet of diverging vanes. So the vanes are, it may be a converging, it may be a diverging, but generally diverging vanes are recommended, because even though it has a very small throw, but definitely covers a lot of area. So for which the horizontal spread is now in this case it is a divergent cone. Sprayed angle is 60 degrees Celsius in the figure. For straight vane and converging, the sprayed is equal to 90 degree, both in horizontal and vertical directions. Converging vanes yield a blow that is about 15% longer than that of straight vanes, whereas for diverging vanes, it is about 50% less than that of a horizontal vanes. So obviously, converging vanes has greater blow or throw than the diverging vane. So in between there is a straight. So diverging vane mainly the 50%, the throw is 50% less than the horizontal vanes, and for converging vane it is 15 to 20% more than the horizontal straight vane. Uh, so this is about the spread. So fourth important parameter of free jet that is coming out from the supply outlet. So this is a typical air diffuser. So in this case, it's definitely its spread is higher than the throw, and it may cover. If it is fitted at the top, it may mainly the spread is in the horizontal direction. Then the velocity distribution to circular jet, if we consider, an understanding of the principle of simple circular jet can be used to understand the characteristic of most of the commercial supply air diffusers and grills. Figure shows the airflow pattern in a circular jet. So this is a circular jet, the airflow pattern. As shown in figure, the supply air leaves the outlet at a velocity VO. So this is the velocity at the supply outlet. The velocity decays as the jet enters the room and entering the room air. So the velocity decreases as it moves away from the supply jet. And it enters the room air as well. The figure also shows the velocity profile that is at a distance x, which is also a function of it can be seen that the velocity of air varies as a function of distance, uh, horizontal x from the opening along with the center line, and the radial distance from the center line. So the velocity varies with distance x as well as the radius r. So this is a typical velocity. Obviously, at the center, the velocity is maximum, and it decays when it uh, in r directions. So it decreases. So the velocity at any location r can be estimated by this empirical expression. So this is local velocity at a distance x and at any radius r. Velocity at a distance x at r is equal to 0. So at r is equal to 0 means at the center line velocity. So the center line velocity we can calculate, that is by putting r is equal to 0. The expression is reduces to this. Then the entrainment ratio, that is the volume flow rate at any distance x to the volume flow rate at x is equal to 0, that is at the inlet. So by integrating this expression, we can calculate volume flow rate at any distance x and at any radius r. So r is 0 to infinity. And at a particular supply outlet, it is a normal formula, that is area into velocity. So from this, by integrating and putting the limits, we can develop the expression of entrainment ratio. So this is entrainment ratio of a circular jet. So for example, we have taken. So this entrainment ratio is much less than 1, close to 0.2, 0.3, then it is a desirable value. So this way we can calculate for other shapes also. So another commonly used jet is rectangular jet. So rectangular jet are long grills generally used for distributing air in conditioned space. These grills can be modeled using equations of rectangle jet. And it has been shown that the rectangle jet, the velocity distribution is given by this expression, where b is the width of the opening and y is the normal distance from the central plane. A comparison between circular and rectangular jet shows that the centerline velocity decreases more rapidly for circular jet compared to the rectangular jet. The rectangular jet entrain less air than the circular jet. As a result, it decelerates more slowly. So obviously most of the cases the rectangular or the circular jets are used because the circular jet, the entrainment is very fast than the rectangular jet. So proper mixing happens in circular jet. But again, depending upon if the distance is not far, generally rectangular jets are also used. So with this, we have finished the space air distribution part. Mainly, we have illustrated the performance parameters of space air distribution system. Three performance parameters we have discussed, that is EDT, that is effective draft temperature, how to calculate that. Then ADPI, that is air distribution performance index, and SDEF, that is space diffusion effectiveness factor. So these factors need to be obtained to investigate the proper design of air distribution system. So generally ADT value, temperature variation should not be too high. ADPI value should be close to 100%, and SDEF value should be less than 1. Sorry, should be greater than 1. So these are the desirable values of these three parameters. So we have also studied one numerical. So you should be able to determine these parameters from the given data. So in order to calculate the given data, in order to calculate these parameters, generally in the given data, dBTA velocity is required, and also exhaust temperature and the supply temperature is required. Secondly, we have you should be able to describe the behavior of free stream jet with the help of some parameters like blow or throw, then drop, entrainment ratio, and spread. These are the parameters which generally observed while studying the behavior of free jet stream. So next lecture we'll discuss the types of air distribution devices. So there are 4 to 5 types we are going to discuss, and there are different patterns as well. Thank you very much.